What was the driving force behind the American Revolution? Can it even be considered a success? What did it really achieve? A couple years before the American Revolution took place, the Townshend Acts were enforced by Parliament. Part of this act put a tax on tea, a big part of colonial life. Of course the colonists were angry and began smuggling with the Dutch. Why should Parliament be able to tax the colonists when not one colonist had a say? This isn't a fight for self-government, it's a fight for respect. As the boycott from the Townshend Acts continued, the Brits began to panic. What would happen to their economy? The Tea Act was established. As the Brits breathed a sigh of relief, the colonists said, "But wait, this only helps you, there's nothing in it for us." Led by Jefferson and Adams, the colonists again refused to buy from the British. The colonists still had no say in this act either. The colonists are persistent, the British are nervous. Although the colonists rejected this tea act, the British insisted on bringing tea to the ports. The colonists took the tea and dumped it in the Boston harbor. This served as the colonists' last warning to the king. Give us representation, or we leave. The British just didn't seem to get the hints. Before the Townshend Act, the British were just experimenting with taxes. Sugar was taxed, but only affected a select group of colonists. Foreign goods were taxed, but then more goods were made in the colonies. The Townshend Act began taxing items that all colonists needed. There was really no way of getting around it, besides boycott. The boycott led to another act. The colonists were too smart for the British. Realize the catch. The colonists refused to follow the Tea Act either, which led to the Boston Tea Party. But this wasn't the end. The colonists wanted a say. The British wanted control. What was to happen? The coercive acts were the main reason for the American Revolution, due to the violation of civil liberties, neglect to colonists' pleas, and disrespect to the colonists. After all the attempts to have a say in the laws being placed on them, the colonists came up short. The British were oblivious to what the colonists wanted: selfishness. The British didn't care that the colonists were human beings being treated poorly. As if having British soldiers in their houses wasn't enough, through these acts, they now lived in the colonists' houses. The colonists were stripped of their town meetings, the only bit of government that was actually theirs. Completely blocked off of trade with anyone, how were the colonies supposed to survive? This punishment was almost too harsh, but what did the British care? Without any freedom, liberty, or patience left, the colonists said enough was enough, and gained the motivation to not only have a say in their government, but gain independence. The colonists were able to break away from the British rule, but did it really help? Segregation among blacks was still present. The British treated the colonists poorly, now the colonists treated the blacks poorly. Yeah, through the American Revolution, the colonists were able to prove to the world that the colonies had high hopes and expectations to rise among the superpowers. The American Revolution showed the colonists motivation, pride, and courage to question the rule of the leading superpower at the time. But were the colonists truly ready for this? With inexperience, besides Jefferson and a select crowd, the colonists were not fully prepared to be their own country. The men sure looked ready on the outside, but even Thomas Jefferson was probably feeling a little skeptical. How can the American Revolution be considered a total success if a civil war occurred under 100 years later? Oh, but it must have been a success. England and the United States fought alongside each other in both world wars. The American Revolution sure started the movement towards a democracy. That movement is yet to be fulfilled today.